I have a feeling this is going to be a really, really long video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Saloni, aka Moody Moo on social media. So this is a Q&A video. I asked my Instagram followers to ask me whatever questions they want to ask me, and I am going to answer them in this video. Okay. First of all, I hope you all are still self-quarantining and staying safe and staying home and not roaming around outside. As long as you can stay at home, I hope you're staying home, because the things that are happening right now, the way the number of cases are increasing in India, I think it's really better if we stay locked down. The first question that I am going to answer, Ritsi Rajput has asked me, all lives matter or selective lives matter? First of all, I think this has a very obvious answers. All lives matter. Just because people are promoting the Black Lives Matter movement, they're not trying to say that only Black Lives Matter. What they're trying to say is Black Lives Matter too. So there's a big difference. Anyways, so I think all lives matter. That we should let people fight for what they believe in. Okay, so the next question is from Janvi04, and she has asked how to grow in life. I want to take a moment to appreciate the kind of questions that you guys have asked. I really am so glad that you guys have asked questions that made me question myself and made me think about things that I hadn't thought of before. So thank you for asking such great questions. Okay, so coming back to Janvi's question, how to grow in life. I think that to grow, first thing you need is intent. You need to have the intent to grow. You need to want to grow. Once you have set that intention, I think eventually you'll start doing things that helps you grow in whatever way you're trying to grow in life. Secondly, I feel you can grow in life with experiences, by doing things, by trying new things, making mistakes, and then learning from those mistakes. I think that's how you grow, with intent and experiences, and learning from those experiences. Blog of the Thoughts has asked me, what is your most favorite book or your go-to book most of the times for rereading? Answer is, my favorite, most favorite book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and it is my most favorite book. So one of my friend recommended that book to me, The Alchemist, and I started reading that book. And while reading that book, I realized that I was actually at a crossroads of picking a career path and choosing between what I want to do and what others expect me to do. So I don't know, in some way that book really helped me, especially that quote that says, when you want something with all your heart, the entire universe conspires to help you achieve it. And that is when I was setting my intention to finding what I really want to do in life. And that book really changed the way I thought about things and thought about life. It's a great book. It has some great insight for every phase in your life. So whenever I think that book gives me hope, makes me want to believe in things that are not very tangible, things that are hard to understand. So yeah, something like magic, and that's what The Alchemist is about, magic. Most favorite book is The Alchemist, and if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend you to read it. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So 21 Hina asks, what made you explore the artsy world? Did you discover it in your 20s, or this love for art has always been there? So my answer is that I've always been a creative person, and always had this inclination towards making handmade gifts, making like craft, art and craft and drawing. These were my favorite classes during school. So drawing, coloring books, these were my favorite. I would make handmade cards for my friends and relatives. I would make stuff for my home, wall hangings for my home, for my room. So I always had this creative side to me, but I wasn't aware of how much I liked it and how much I wanted to create. So that realization came in when I had to pick a career path, and I already answered that question, that when I was reading The Alchemist, that's when things hit me. That's when I started becoming more self-aware of what kind of things I liked and what I did not like. I used to learn Photoshop by myself during college times, and even though I was doing bachelor's in management studies, I would still download pirated versions of Photoshop, and then I would just make really terrible stuff on it. I would explore the software on my own, and I don't think YouTube was that big during that time, or maybe I was not aware of it, so I didn't really know how to learn these softwares by myself. So I would just make random stuff on it, and but the point was I still liked doing it, and I would make scrapbooks, I would edit pictures on Photoshop on my own. And I had this realization after graduating, when after I started pursuing MBA. In classes I would just like zone out, and I would feel like I don't belong there. That's a different story actually, but the point is, when I realized what I didn't want to do, that's when I started questioning myself and asking myself what I really want to do. So I started with graphic design. That's how I started exploring and ended up doing illustrations. So yeah, self-awareness is everything. Renuka Artwork asks, how to get people to notice your work as an artist just starting out on this platform. So Renuka, first of all, I want to tell you that I don't want to dishearten you in any way, but I would like to tell you that when I started off, there were not as many illustrators and artists as there are now on Instagram. So, and I am talking about when I started was in 2000. So I have been on Instagram since 2012, and I started posting art since 2014 or 15. So it's been 5 years, and now the entire illustration comic industry is booming on Instagram. It is definitely, there's more competition than what used to be. So my story I've already shared in one of my YouTube videos. I think you need to keep posting, keep getting better at your art, and I totally don't believe in follow for follow. That concept is just stupid. I don't believe that if you follow someone and then someone follows you, I feel like that's like a barter. That is not genuine following. People should follow you because they like your work. They should not be following you out of pressure, like out of a condition that, you know, I'm gonna follow you, so you follow me back. That's not how it works. And I don't feel like that's genuine following. Use relevant hashtags. You can check my hashtags that I use. I still use hashtags. Some people think that putting so many hashtags is just overdoing and trying too hard, but I think it's so important to use hashtags because that's how people discover your work. I'm just a businessman maybe, and I am looking for an artist. I'm gonna use hashtag illustration artist, and then that's how I'm gonna discover stuff on Instagram. That's how I'll discover posts, and that's how I'll discover artists. So I feel like hashtags are really very important. So use relevant hashtags, as many as you can. I think the limit is 30. Use all 30 if you can, but make sensible hashtags. Try to discover other artists. Keep in touch with other artists. Keep a good communication with other artists. You need help for anything, just other artists are just a DM away, and trust me, artists are really kind and sweet. They will reply to your message. I know I do. I know Neha Doodles does it. I know Pranita Art does it. Okay, also special shout out to Sadhika Gupta as well, Delhi Doodler. She replies to DMs as well. She's a great mandala artist, a great lettering artist, and I think I have a great community and great relations with all of these people. Pranita Art, Neha Sharma, Neha Doodles, Delhi Doodler, Monica Tata, Doodlo Drama, all of these people, they're great, and I would like to believe that I am also a part of that community, and we all belong and we all are great and cordial with each other. We are all friends. So yeah, try to form a community, be a good person. But this is also one of the hacks that to be noticed. If you comment on other people's artwork and appreciative, loving comments, not hate comments, sensible comments, genuine comments on people's art or any kind of content, that's gonna get you noticed as well. It's just a chance that you are taking, but you have nothing to lose. So yeah, I feel like commenting on other people's work, sending nice messages also helps. What sets you apart? Try to ask yourself what sets you apart. That won't happen overnight, of course. Finding your own voice to be different from others, because if you are the same as what others are doing, then people might as well follow the others. So I think these should help for now. Next question is from Sheena47389. She asked, what do you do when you're stressed? So when I'm stressed, the first thing I do is I cry, let out the heavy feelings. That really helps. First I do the mindless things like crying, letting it out, letting the heaviness out, snacking. Sometimes I nap if I'm exhausted, and then I try to process those emotions. Yeah. Just ask myself what is in my control and what is not in my control. So it is easy to let go of things that then you gradually, it's not easy, but you have no choice. You have to let go of what is not in your control. For example, we are in the middle of a pandemic. It's not in our effing control. What you can do is things like staying at home, being safe, being practical, taking care of yourself, of your family. The first thing to do is to take care of yourself. That's the most important. Talking about pandemics, Next question is from Muskan Khowal. She has asked how to stay positive and motivated during this pandemic. That is a great question. First thing is, you cannot constantly stay positive and motivated in the middle of this pandemic. It's not possible. But I have realized, and I saw a post that said, how about instead of trying to stay positive, we try staying present, bringing our minds mainly to the present moment, because our minds are crazy and our minds are often running either in the past, wondering and stressing about things that have already happened and that you have no control over, that you can't change, or they are running in the future, which is also not in your control. You cannot create the future if you're not living the present right now. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't always stay positive and motivated. You can live in the present, but once you are living in the present, then you can try to do things that make you feel better. Anything that comes to mind that makes you feel better, reading books that make you happy, following accounts that make you happy. Social media is so important. Being aware of what kind of content you're following is so important. If you're following news, make sure you're also following news accounts that are sharing good news as well. There are so many happy news, good news accounts on Instagram as well. Try following those. Stay well informed, but also have the space for good news, for good things, for kind people, for niceness. So you should know what makes you happy, what brings you peace. Once make a list of these things and then do those things to stay positive and motivated. And when you feel like this is just impossible, that is when you try to stay grounded in the present moment. Okay, I think now I have answered that question very well by being very repetitive as well. Next question is on a lighter note, because things are getting really heavy and things are about to get heavier. There are heavier questions after this. So on a lighter note, Hummingbird asks, what is your idea of a dream date? My idea of a dream date is being with the right person. It could be anywhere. It could be just sitting in a car with a takeaway cup of coffee and talking about interesting things, just really connecting with each other. So I feel like the person is way more important than the material things around you. As long as you are with a great person that you vibe with, that you are really connected with, someone who understands you. Okay, this is about me, so someone who understands me, someone who remembers little things about me and does those little things on the date, that would be a great date, my dream date. So yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, next question is from Shreya99. How do you battle the fear of the unknown? The fear of the unknown is basically anything that is beyond our comfort zone. This is also something that I struggle with myself. It's also related to social anxiety. I think it requires a lot of self-reflection, identifying the fear, asking yourself questions like, what is the worst that can happen if I do this? Acknowledging the fact that everyone is human as well, and others have similar fears as well. Being proactive would help, I feel. Preparing yourself for things, trusting yourself, having faith in yourself, Again, all of this can happen only when you have enough self-awareness. You can battle it with doing all of your inner work. Journaling for self-reflection, meditating, grounding yourself, really being fully aware of yourself. I think that is how you can battle any kind of fear, actually. Okay, so next, for the next question, I'm going to combine two questions. One is from Nena Roy to 189. Do you get anxious anytime? What do you do to deal with it? And another question is also similar. It has a similar answer, and that is from Dinu for you. How do you deal with your anger? He has written anger management, but I'm guessing, how do you deal with your anger? I don't think you will get angry, but just asking. Oh, I do get angry. I am human as well. So for anger, I have started so I have done enough journaling now to realize that I have done enough journaling to start forgiving people even without them having to ask for forgiveness. So I feel like just understanding that everyone is human and they are also coming from a place of their own deep hurt or disappointments or frustrations. Being more compassionate, it has made me more compassionate, and I feel like now I have started understanding my own emotions as well as others' emotions, and that's how I deal with my own anger. Sometimes I cry, but I feel like that helps as well. The heavy feeling is gone once I am done crying, and then I can later on process all these emotions and deal with my anger. It just automatically calms me down once I take the time out to process the whole situation. By the time I process everything, I've already calmed down. So I think that's how I deal with my anger. So I don't really have serious anxiety like many people do. There are different types. There are people who get severe panic attacks also. I don't get anxious very often, but again, it's a similar process. You identify the triggers, you try to set boundaries, you try to control everything that is in your control. Journaling has helped me so much to deal with any kind of emotions, any kind of negative emotions we don't easily express. I feel like journaling has really helped me because journaling makes you so self-aware. It helps you ground yourself. I feel like every answer today that I'm giving to these questions is self-awareness, and honestly I feel like that is really the answer to so many questions, being self-aware. You know how to take your power back, you know how to take charge of the situation and not be lost, and not lose control over yourself and your life. So once you're self-aware, you know what you can do to turn things around, to deal with the anxiety. That's what helps, or doing all the things that making first. So when you're journaling, you make a list of all these things that calm you down, that bring you peace, that make you feel better. And once you know and once you're aware of these things, the next time it happens, you know what to do. Sometimes just watching a good movie, sometimes watching or listening to interesting people, interesting interviews, podcasts, all of these things can help, I feel. So yeah, if you really want to deal with your anxiety, I think if it's really severe, please get help. Please get professional help, and don't just listen to influencers or people talking on social media. If it's severe, please get help. Okay, next question is again from Dino for you, has asked me, what if not doodles? First of all, I don't like the term doodles, but what if I wasn't doing illustrations or making comics? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but I feel like I have always had this deep desire to make a difference through whatever I do, through whatever work I do, to have a positive influence on people. So I feel like if it wasn't for this, it would be something that made this world a better place. Anything. But it would definitely be driven by my deep desire to make people feel good, create some kind of a positive change in people's lives. This is the end of this really long Q&A. Thank you so much for sending in your interesting questions. I know I have babbled for a really long time, been repetitive also maybe, but I hope you were patient enough to listen to me talk for such a long time. I hope I enlightened you in some way, or maybe made you feel like you relate to it. That's all. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. And if you do want to make this a regular thing, send me more questions. Use hashtag MoveZen, and we shall make it a series, maybe a regular series on YouTube. Have a great day. Stay blessed, stay well, stay safe, stay indoors. If you don't have to go outside for work and make a living, then please do that. Yeah, and be good.